Hey, Thak here, welcome. I am working on a sliding latch, or two sliding latches for some big doors, and I'm trying to go with a very sculpted medieval or textured medieval sort of theme to it. The thing is, working in a real world as a business, I'm trying to do stuff that looks traditional, but at the same time can be done in a timely manner, so I'm not spending obscene amounts of time trying to put it together. So I just wanted to show you just some of the inner workings of this and what's going on. So I'll get my camera to come in tight and take a look at what we are doing. So here's what I've got so far. I've got the actual sliding bolt here, and I've got the staples that hold this into place. You can see I've cut out a cardboard template of possibly what the back plate might look like. On the other door, there's a double door system here. There will be another plate, maybe it'll be symmetrical, I don't know. In any event, it will have this piece on here, so you imagine that the door is split there. So when this piece slides, and it comes back to there, we've got a stop here that holds in place. That clears that so that this can open up, and then when it slides the other way, it latches it into place. Problem with these is that you need to make them loose enough that they move, but then they're kind of sloppy and they won't stay in the position. Traditionally, what they had was a little tiny leaf spring underneath the bottom here that kind of gave some tension there. Is for a time saver, I decided with some experimenting to try something to see if I could do something quickly. So all I did was drill a 3/8 hole. I got some springs from the hardware store, $1.50 for a pack of 2, and I took the spring, drilled a hole. So I've got my hole, which is 25/64. It's one size over 3/8 because this is a 3/8 around here. So I've got my spring in here. That works in there. Now, in my experimenting, I realized that that spring was a little bit long, and so to customize the tension, I actually snipped off a little bit. And I'll just show you what I came up with. So I've got this piece here. I did a little mock-up of what the slider is going to be, and let's see if I can get this mounted in there. Okay, so now this is where my spring is located here. So basically what I've got is some tension on there. This thing moves, but moves fairly freely, but at the same time it doesn't move so much that it's going to wiggle out of place. There's constant tension on there. So this is the kind of thing with adjusting the length of this spring, and I could snip off a little bit less on that one, make it a little bit tighter, or make it a little bit looser. But that's a pretty quick way to get something that creates that function without it being a problem. I should also point out on this one that this little rivet that I've got in here is the stop that dictates how much travel this thing actually has. So when it's in the closed position, butting up against there, and then this still got some room there, and that you've got plenty of bolt holding that door in position, so that's good and secure. And then when it moves back, that stops it there from pulling the whole thing out. Everything stays in position. So based on that, I'm thinking that I need to put my spring hidden in about that position there, which is going to give mid-range tension and keep that in position. So that's where I am in my prototyping of this. Come back in a day or two and we'll see the actual working piece together and see what I came up with. Almost forgot, I wanted to talk about what I'm doing as far as attaching the staple portions here. Traditionally, if we were looking at traditional sliding latch like this, it would have a Mortise and Tenon style attachment, and essentially what that would be would, let me just quick draw a picture here. This piece would come up in here and have a tenon coming off, and then there would be a square hole that this would fit through, and then that would go through the plate like that and then be peened over to hold those pieces together. Really cool. I've done it. Incredibly time consuming, and again, I didn't really want to, it's not going to add anything visually to the piece, and just for the bragging factor that you did it traditionally, doesn't really, you know, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot. So if I want to make a buck, then I better do it this way. And what we're going to do, I've ground this off here, and these will just be TIG welded on. Nice, clean, discreet weld there. Visually won't really be any different than traditional, but at the same time, we've still got a good looking thing that functions well, and it can be done in a timely manner. And they're done. So you can see how they all came together here, and we've got our spring, which is hidden down inside here, and everything is sliding nicely. You can see the stop is in here, and this stop is just a rivet that I put in with some silicone so it can be popped out and you can disassemble the whole thing. So you've got your latch here and your keeper that goes together. The whole thing is securely done. So I made the back plates symmetrical, or more or less the same size here, just because like it only needs to have that much there, but I made them that way because on the doors, when they're mounted on these double doors from a distance back about 20-30 feet, I just think visually it will look a little bit better aesthetic wise. So there we have it. That's how it goes. These things are fun to make, but fiddly, and therefore time consuming, and therefore expensive. So that is it. Back out. See ya.